Hello and welcome again to Steve's Long Stay Vintage Radio Workshop, and this radio is here for educational purposes. Basically I'm going to show you what to do when the radio comes in like this, which is in nice condition. I admit that. It's probably been a showpiece rather than working radio, but if I was to plug this one in, nothing will happen. And nothing will happen because there are things missing from it. Now in this situation you can do one of three things. One, take what you can off for parts. If you must do that, then go ahead. Two, give it somebody else quick and hope for the best. Again, I would do that here. Or three, look at whether it can actually be repaired. This is medium wave and long wave, an FM only, no long wave or short wave on this. It's Baird, by the way, radio rentals, they actually used to rent out radios in the day, the same way that people used to rent out TV sets. Long before Sky Glass, you know, people used to actually rent radios as well, and this might be one of those. But this case, there's stuff missing from it, so of course I can't switch it on because there's no point really. I have tried, nothing happens. Nothing would, because I look in the back and I found, well, I've given a picture of the back actually, there's no valves in, so of course it'll do now. It's got one of these leads, but this radio has actually got something in common with the sets like the DAC 90A, the DAC 90, and that is one of these leads which comes off. So yeah, I'll leave that in, but what I will do at some point is I'll mark which way it goes in, because of course that is vital with things like this. Now at this stage I want to say something about radios like this. Muck, no problem, just clean it up. Parts missing, you wonder what's been going on. Why are there parts missing? I'll show you what to do in that situation in a little bit, but I will say this. One thing which I don't like, when people ask anyone, and I don't think anyone should answer this, to be honest with you, although people do, is this: can I repair it? Am I good enough? Am I this? Am I that? Am I powerful? Am I skilled enough? Well, I'll tell you two things there. First of all, if you don't know, you don't try. And the second thing I'll say on the matter is, if you don't try, you'll never know. And so don't let people say, oh, you can't get anything with that, because you know, you might well be able to. Seriously, you might be able to. So with that in mind, let's open this beauty up and have a look and see what there is and what there is not in here, because we've got to find out where we're starting from. It's important that we do. So yeah, I noticed the aerial is only on one plug as well, so it's obviously a wire for the cabinet. Again, that's quite common. This was probably used in a city environment, you know, because back then actually FM was only used in the home. Believe it or not, it's had to have a big area if you're in the country. Not like that now, of course, but it was then. So that's why it's why they do actually tend to be a little bit below par on FM, because back in the day, in Britain at any rate, there's only a home third and lights. That takes it back, doesn't it? Home third and lights when this was made. So not even Radio 1. Although in the 60s, of course, Radio Caroline came along on 199 metres. It's back, by the way, actually, on the other side of Britain where I am. I don't seem to be able to get it here, which is a shame. But there you go. I am actually looking at getting a couple of medium wave transmitters in here actually, so I can try and get it try and get them that way, because medium wave, as many of you know, is now very bereft stations. Here we've got the Curry FM station, we've got Talk Sport, 5 Live, and a Gold station. That is it really, you know. I mean, I wonder how long they're going to be there for, you know. As I said before, I think it's a very bad move of the government to get rid of AM, because AM, of course, when something happens, you know, AM will get a lot further than FM, so you get a lot of places where it should. Anyway, this is the set, and as you can see here, no speakers. That's the FM on there. That's rather poor. But do something with that. Don't know what they are. I really don't. Another thing I don't know is where it goes down there. The FM valve goes right down there. Hang on, I'll plug it in so we can have a proper look before we go any further. Best of it looks to be in reasonable condition actually. All that I noticed there were 2 Holt's capacitors to get rid of. There's no problem there. There doesn't seem to be anywhere on this actually an output transformer either. Unless it's on the it's on the back. I can see it. So that so the first thing we do in this situation, before we do anything else, is the chassis comes out completely out, and we'll see what we've got to play with. Very important that we do. I've not done many Baird sets before. I've come across all that often. I did have a Baird 700 TV receiver once, but that left us when I had to move out the old house. So you know, I believe it's happy now in its new location. But seriously, I've not really done much Baird stuff, so yeah, I just haven't. So yeah, that's not coming out that big, is it? Okay, not to worry. Should do. There we go, it's out, right, okay. So on this side now there's this one here. Like that. Different again. And there's the one under here, I don't know. If you take the knobs off the front, the whole thing should come out onto the bench. Whether pull or the grub screw, but I get them off and we'll come back to you on it straight away. Few, I say a few because those dots were horrible to get off, but they came off in the end. Because there are no speakers in this radio, the lot came out, which is what I've done here. Now in a situation like this, the first thing you do is a look. Okay, first of all, I can see that it's one of these plugs, but it only goes in one way, okay? Now then, from there, it goes to the off switch and I hope to deck, yeah? That's one thing. There isn't an output transformer in this at all. It seems to have walked, so that's something which we have to possibly look at. We'll have to look at it and find it something that'll do. Speakers again, couple of speakers, you know. I don't know whether they're in parallel or not. I've not got a circuit for this. Actually, I couldn't find one straight away. I have to go through all my books and things and find something from there. These were rental sets, like I said, so probably they were kept in house. But a fairly standard radio. Now I noticed that there's no main transformer in this. Therefore, it is the U series valves, of course, you know, the big resistor. Okay, there's a fuse there. Okay, check that and find out which one of these valves is which. What we do know is that that's a UCC85, that'll be UCH81, that'll be something like a UF89, something like that. But these three, I'm not sure. One of them will probably be a UABC80, one will be a UL84, and one will be UCH8, a UY85. Okay. Also noticed that the there we are, you see, the actual circuit board looks to be more or less okay. I'm going to take a chance on the on these. Yeah, that we might have to change. We might not. Again, I don't know in that situation. We'll see. But it's simple enough to change. So again, there's not much of a problem there. Actually, what I do with these quite often actually is leave that in place for, and put the new capacitors behind it. But in this case, I might whip it out completely and put the new capacitors on the circuit board. I don't know about that just yet. Let's see how things go. So anyway, on with the meter, like that. Earth, okay, so one of these goes to earth. It's that one, okay. And that suggests to me that it goes all the way to earth. It does, okay, so that one's, so that goes to earth, the neutral, therefore this one must be live. It's switched on at the front here, so therefore if that goes onto there like that now, yeah, you should get something to do there. We do. I'll go back to that, goes on there like that and goes onto there. Okay, so the fuse is okay. Okay, well that's, this actually is in reasonable condition, so I don't know quite what happened with this to make it like this, but we'll find out, I'm sure. Now, the valves, of course, are in series on this, and the bulbs are probably in series with the valves. So, you know, there's one of these thyristics here. It again doesn't look too bad. Not as that one actually, but looks aren't everything, as we know. So now we'll get which one of these is which. Now, that goes to there, I think, isn't it? That goes to there, okay, fine. And that goes to this resistor here, this goes to there. So this one must be the UY85, okay? Which means this one is probably the UL84, because if these go to the output transform, which is not here, then this would be the UL84, which means that this is probably the UABC80. So straight away we've got the valve sorted. Okay, I've done this a long time. If you've not, then there's nothing wrong with getting the manual, but always make sure that, you know, and sometimes you have to work without. And so I'm going to as much as possible with this, because, well, as of yet I haven't finished circuit for it, so I've got to. Okay, right, well, first of all, that's that. So now with that like that, yeah, we now find out and make sure that this lead here, which I've put down here at the way, because I'm a very naughty boy, I tend to plug things in, as you know, goes in one way, okay, goes in that way, okay. So therefore, that goes to deck again, goes to this plug like that, and it should go to neutral here. Now, neutral is on this side, so again, oh dear, oh dear. Now that is a problem. That is a problem which I've found out now actually, and the thing with that is that unfortunately with these sets, with it wired that way around in the plug, with no current flowing, all this metal work will be alive at 240 volts or 230 or whatever, 110, 120 in the States. So straight away this has got to be got the right way around. Okay, so straight away we come across a problem of sorts here. Okay, well that's something we can deal with relatively quickly. Technically these cords are illegal, but you know, I'm just going to put this the right way around in here and hope for the best. So again, so now if I put that onto there like that, yeah, that one's neutral, so it goes onto that one, and we check to make sure again, neutral, 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 nothing, live, it's there. So at least we know from that the fuse is okay in the plug anyway, but exactly what it is, I don't really know at this stage, but that's neither here nor there now. We can sort that. Okay, right now, again, until this is sorted out, I don't want to put mains through this thing at all. So now, I'll take that off and we'll deal with that a little bit later on. And from there, therefore, like that stays there, right, okay. We turn it round, again, we're going to neutral, we're going to a continuity, and it's there, okay. So that goes to there, and I think it goes to somewhere like there, which is that's the meter, so you can see it, okay. So that goes to there, and to there. What's it? 100 ohms exactly there. To here. So that side of it is okay. Now the other side of it, of course, is here. And so from here there's also okay, nothing wrong with keeping checking, by the way. So again, I'll put that back on, I'll put it on there, okay, same place. Okay, so now that goes to there, goes to there, and that goes to there. Okay, fine, okay, right, okay. Now then, so now here, of course, 4 and 5 are the heaters, and so the other one is this one here, which is the DC. Nothing's in place here, so there won't be a problem that way. So that goes into there like that, into there like that, and it should go to somewhere like, where's this? That's to somewhere like somewhere down here. Okay. Okay, and the other one. Okay, so there's something there. Okay, but whether it's functioning, I don't know, but it does seem to be there. Okay, right, now in this case, next thing I'm going to do here is think, right, what's next? I think the next thing we do here is find the valves, put them all in, and make sure the heater sink works okay. Again, we can do this with the meter, so I'll get the valves from stock and we'll take it from there. Okay. The heaters, by the way, on these are the older are 0.1 amps. They are on AC. Okay, not DC. They're on AC, and it goes through the heaters to deck. Okay, that's the way it works. So let's get the heaters up and running, or at least breathing okay first. Here is the set of valves for this radio. They came with it, they came in an envelope with it. So these valves, I hope they're okay. I'm gonna put them all in. Again, do not have to put mains to radio to take a valve circuit like this. Believe me, you don't. All you need to do is put them all in like that. Put them all in. Which I really ought to have my glasses on for. But this is me we're talking about here, you know, I tend not to. So that goes in there. The USB-C goes in there. Okay, that one goes in there. Okay. Now, normally, that would be the IF valve. In most cases it is, but with a Pi recently it wasn't. But I'm going to make another assumption here, despite the fact that assumptions make an ass of you and me. Yeah, so that goes into there, that goes into there, like that. Like that, okay. That goes into there like that, okay. And finally, the VHF valve goes into its socket in here, which I'll turn the radio around and I'll put it in down here, which is sometimes a bit of a problem because they're a bit hard to see. So one of those things, mobile phones, aren't they? Okay, right, this way around, okay, right, so really easy to get to, that, isn't it? Yeah. I'll just stop the camera because I might swear. The other valves are now back in. I'll put the UCC for back in its screen box here in the end. But now we're going to find out how to check the whole lot in one go. Is relatively simple. Yeah. First of all, go onto there. Nothing. Onto there, however, there's now a reading, which there wasn't before. Now, if we go to 20k like that, that is 2.6k. That's about right. So we know therefore from that the heaters at any rate are okay. Now at this point we need to check and see what happens with the output transform, because unfortunately I don't know why it's out of circuit. So we have to find out why, don't we? That seems okay. Okay. I actually then had a reading off it as well, and also crackling the speakers, which tells me that the primary is okay, the secondary is okay, and the speakers are okay. So why it was taken out of circuit, well, I don't know. I simply don't know, because I got the radio in this state. Anyway, so now we'll try and put these onto here like this. Because if you look, there's yellow and yellow and red, and of course this comes to the 8-put valve here. Now, when you're doing something like this, never run a radio without the 8-put transformer in, because a pentode and a tetrode takes current through the anode and the second grid. Yeah. If there's nothing on the anode at all, everything will try and go through the second grid, which is not good for the valve. It looks very good actually. Lovely shade of purple last time I saw it happen, but it's not good for the valve. And you know, why change valves when you don't have to? So it's best to make sure that we don't do that. So now these gone to here, and you know, I might even plug it in and see what happens. The speakers have been put back on where I like to think they go. So apply power, and straight away there's a light on the front there. You might see it, you might not. But now we'll see what happens. We'll see if anything comes up and lights up anywhere. It should, but whether it will or not is another matter entirely. Lovely cracking. We're doing something. We're doing something. Not a lot, but it's doing something. Well, this tells us, first of all, that is probably okay. Yeah. The HT and the LT are both up. But unfortunately it doesn't seem to be doing a right lot else, does it? Ha ha ha.
40 minutes. The greatest hits of all time. Non-stop. If you've lost £3,000 of
David De Gea's goal, and he makes a big save. Again, Lindelof's gone completely missing, and Shaw's had to come out towards the near side to help block that.
Okay, right, well that's something, but it wasn't doing anything on VHF. Now that could be for a number of reasons. The favourite, of course, is this valve here, because they do fail. So I'll have a good look and find out why that is as well. That actually, it might be because there's no aerial on it, because these here are the aerial. But I think the next thing we need to do is remove a sort of certain Hunt capacitors and make it sound a little bit better, because another thing happens with these pentode valves is that the Hunt capacitors go leaky, electronically leaky that is, you know, and they put a voltage on the first grid of the pentode valve, and when they do, that valve is hard on, which doesn't do it a lot of good. In the end, you can destroy both the valve and the 8-put transformer there. So they really need to be changed, sort of like pronto. That's the one thing with every valve radio. Always change the grid capacitor on the 8-put valve without fail. It goes between the anode at the preamp before it, which is in the UABC18 in this case, and the grid of this valve here. Use the resistor in place as well. Just to prove my point, what I will do, because I'm feeling a bit generous today, is I'll put it on that again, like you see, and it comes up, one end of it should have on it a voltage. So you know, I'll that goes like that. And the other end should have nothing on it at all, but I bet you it does.
2 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45. Marcus Rashford,
See?
Jadon Sancho, goal apiece at the end. At the beginning of this first half, which Manchester United.
Even if it doesn't appear to have, you'll always change it anyway, particularly if it's into the Hunt's one.
Then that's easily caught by David De Gea. The problem here, of course, is that now Tottenham Hotspur will think they've got to come
That looks to be okay.
their way back into the game. That
But we change it anyway because
are all about on the counter-attack.
Hunt's capacitors are very, very, very unreliable. They were when they were new, and they are now. So change them on site. That's VHF working away quite well there. Now I put a screwdriver in as an aerial. So all the valves in this seem to be more or less okay. But the AHT on this is rather low at I'll put the meter onto DC first of all. There we are. Rather low. That's something it's that's worrying. Helps you put the meter on the right range, doesn't it? Okay. It's rather low there, you see. That's when this is low. We should kind of pick up on the mains transformer there. Okay. And coming out, it's once it's a voltage, which is a bit low. Now coming into this valve, the rectifier, it is 235 volts or thereabouts, which I can see, which we can see here. Again, if we use the right range. See, that's about 235 volts or so. Now, there are a number of things this could be. It could be that, which does get a little bit warm, perhaps it's reforming, does happen. Or of course the valve could be weak, or these resistors could be low, or not doing what they should. It could be any one of those things. Now, with that getting warm, one suggests that it's probably that. Now, as regards the capacitor for the output valve on grid 1, there's 50 volts on one side of it from the Ethernet, which again is a little bit low, it should be, and not on the other. And it's not a Hunt, it's one of these things, and these generally don't fail, but I'll see how that goes. So, what do you think I should do first? Well, I think the first thing I'll do first here with this, actually, although it's not humming or anything, is change that, because it might be leaking the HT to the deck and on the whole thing lower than it should be. It might be that. It might be that. I'll find out what the resistor on the input is, and I think it's about a K actually, which is about right. And it works out exactly a K, so I think that's probably all right. So I think next thing to do is change that, and of course the 200 capacitors. As you can hear, with the new capacitors in the circuit now, not even any hum, nothing, it's just fine that now. So what I've done, that diode capacitor there is now out of circuit. There's 3 capacitors on the back there, one of which is peeping out there. But yeah, you can, okay, fine. But that is now out of circuit. Now also with this, I've changed a couple of capacitors down here as well. Hunt capacitors, which basically to change on site. So that's something else which I've done. And there's not a lot else to do with this actually. Why it was in bits, I don't really know, to be honest with you. probably because of that. It's there because the board looks better with it there than not. So I like to leave it in place and put the capacitors on the back, which is what I've done here, laying down, because of course the front of that goes on the front of the radio, so we've got to give room which there is. And also they're away from the heat of the valves, so that's why we do that. Anyway, very quickly, how about one or two little pointers for radio fixtures everywhere. Now listen up people, here's 3 things to look out for. First of all, if you get a set like this, it's in pieces like this one was. I expect this one to be a lot more difficult actually. Get the model number of the radio if you can and go off that, very easy to do. Yeah. Also, if you can't get a circuit, a good valve book or data on the valves is essential. Okay, there's various sites online. I use one called the Valve Museum. They type in the valve in question. Now most valves have equivalents as well, so for example ECC818283 have 12AX, 12AT, 12AU and 12AX. Yeah, that's, you know, but again a good valve book will tell you that, so don't worry there. Okay, now when you're powering a radio for the first time, hit it with mains, yeah? 240 volt AC mains, yeah? And there are 2 ways to power the radio. One of them with a transformer. These are considered safest by the powers that be, but they're both particularly safe. Okay. Now this set doesn't have a transformer. It has a dropper resistor. Now, if there's a transformer in the set, the chances are the valves are in parallel. That means if you pull one out, the other ones stay on. Yeah, because they're in parallel. With these sets, they're in series, so if one dies, they all go out, like Christmas tree lights used to do back in the day. Now, for that reason, and one or 2 others, yeah, this sort of cable is not actually used now on these sets. Actually, technically it's illegal. What I've done here, by the way, it goes in one way here, and I've put a knot in the live, so there we are. Now the chassis must always be tied to neutral on these sets. Neutral, always neutral, yeah, because if the set develops a fault or the valve won't light up or something like that, then current will not flow. But if therefore it live into the chassis will then be at live 240 volts potential, which is shocking to say the least. So be ready for that, okay? Now then, hum, next question. Well, hum, when you get hum in a radio, there's 2 types. The most common one actually is mains hum. Now, with a set like this, it only has a half wave, a UA85 in this case, a half wave rectifier, yeah? This with transformer have a full wave rectifier. The difference is, after half wave, yeah, on the full wave, it loses that completely, yeah? The full wave puts it up there, you see, and so more of the power is used. Full wave is better, but not in these sets, because of course, you know, you need transformers in to bring them back up again, so that is why. You see, so that now the hum comes from the capacitors, yeah. Now on this one, as I said before, the one that's in it was a daily capacitor, much loved by people who service hacker transistor radios, for example. Yeah, the smoothing capacitor is a block of capacitors. Yeah, and the first one is called the reservoir capacitor. Yeah, so on these cycles it charges up, and then it unloads a bit, and up and down, up and down. You see, on the other 2 capacitors, or 1 capacitor, 2 in this case, usually just 1. they will smooth waveform out further in the same sort of way. Without that in circuit at all, we'll get nothing but a loud buzz, which cannot be controlled by the volume control. Okay, that happens, switch the radio off straight away. Also, sometimes you will get something behind it. Again, it's these capacitors here. You can get them, but they're a bit expensive now. What capacitors are generally, you have to pay to play in this game sometimes. But normally, the ones you get from CPC or online, you know, they will do the job perfectly well. Although I do recommend that you get them from a reasonable source, because there are, of course, one or two charlatans out there, as always. That's why. Now, the other thing I'll talk about is the capacitor on the grid of the 8-foot pentode. Yeah, the 8-foot pentodes. First of all, yeah, this is from a set I've worked on recently. Yeah. Now, the valves are there, to that resistor there and there, like that, you see. That can be replaced with a capacitor if these fail. But if you do, then the set won't work on DC. Not that it mattered like these days, but there you go. So the capacitor, put a capacitor in there, and it will work actually, but you need to remember that you need to work out using Pythagoras and such like what the value should be. Usually it's about 2.2 microfarads or thereabout. The capacity getting computers should do here quite well. Right, anyway, this is the pentode here. Yeah. Now the pentode takes 2 power from 2 places. One goes through the output transformer to the main line. Up top here, you see. Now that particular line, if that is broken because the transformer's open circuit or something, the valve will try and conduct this way. And although it's good to look at sometimes for a second, it's not good for the valve, and it will fail in pretty short order. So never, never, never leave a radio on with the anode disconnected or nothing on it at all. Okay, do not do it. Simple as that. Now a transformer of this kind, again, secondary goes to the speaker and primary goes to the anode there, you see. Yeah. Now the other thing with these, by the way, we're checking here as well, but generally they're okay, is this capacitor here, 0.01 microfarads here. That capacitor there goes leaky, and when it does, it puts a DC on the first grid here. Yeah. When you do that, it forces this valve into conduction. It makes it work really hard, sometimes too hard. In most cases, you will know because the radio won't sound as good. But in some cases, with this starting, then the radio will sound okay. So always check and change that capacitor. Even if that's still a capacitor change, always change that one. Okay? Very, very important. Yeah? And that's basically how that works. Yeah. That goes from the anode of the valve before it, which is in the UABC18 in the Baird case here, and that has on it HT as well, and that is basically a DC block to allow the AC through here, but not the DC. That's what that's for. Yeah. And of course you get a grid resistor there as well, and sometimes you get that there, but really that one is the problem. If that one there, again, it might be worth changing, it might not. It depends on the voltage here. That's something else to worry about. Now then, a radio apart and a radio together are two different things, so always be very careful what you do. Yeah, always. Now, at this stage, this is a TRF set. TRF sets don't have IFTs in them. These are IFTs here, yeah. These are ganged. That is that they go through them both to the anodes of the valves, and the secondaries go to different capacitors. Because on this set, I think it's usually something like 10.7 for the megahertz for the FM, and just something like 420, 470, 460 volts, 50 hertz for the pump. I think I'll start again. Usually about 450 kilohertz on the AC, yeah. And so the serial generator goes on, and of course we treat those to maximum. Okay. Now, and also with these, the capacitor in this shielded box here, this is the AC, this is the VHF bit here, and this valve does fail. So to check, if you're nothing on VHF at all with the radio, if the 10.7 comes out, before you do anything else, chuck another valve in there, because they do fail. And I'm told that cheap now actually, but there you go, that's something else. But it's got to be an ECC 85 or 8 or UCC 85 when it's an AC set, AC/DC set. Like I said, it's E series for AC sets and U series for DC sets. Okay, so that's something else. Then with these also, they need to have an aerial. Okay, I have my meter on just now to do it, but you can use a screwdriver or something. But on the back of these sets, there's usually a bit of wire or something, but it's worth putting an outdoor aerial if you can, or at least something outside that works. Even with modern sets, that is always a rather good idea. Anyway, let's get on with the show, shall we? And I'll start looking at things like where this transformer goes here. Never, by the way, wire a speaker up to a valve. Apart from one or two cases, Phillips, I'm looking at you here. If there's one of those in circuit, input transformers, like that one, yeah, one of those in circuit, it's there for a reason, and you cannot work without it. Okay, because what will happen is the mains will go through the speaker, or speakers in this case. It won't sound as good, and the speakers won't last as long. So again, you need to think about that as well, because we're putting DC in this case 180 volts through those speakers, and that is not what they were designed for. So that's something else which you need to worry about. So always make sure the speaker and the speakers and the transformer are connected, and also please make sure the transformer is the right way around. You need to check, by the way, the primary is about 300, 400 ohms, and the secondary 2 or 3 at the most. Okay, that's something else. I say to check that. Okay, right then. As they said, on with the motley, or rather on with the show. Here are the two speakers for the radio, his line output transformer, and these, by the way, these are called the Wago connectors. I might have mentioned before. There are two types actually, the old and the new, you might say. These are the older type. What they are, they come in various different ways, is a way of connecting wires together quickly and painlessly. Yeah, you bear them, put them in, and there you go. Here's one close up. There you are. And basically, you just up like that. You see one like that. Put the wire in, close it shut. There you are. Very, very easy to do. So put 2 of those on there. Now, of course, the next job we've got to do is put those into the cabinet, which is here. Here's the cabinet. Now, again, if you look inside, that's one speaker, that's 2, and the line and the power transformer, output transformer goes there. Okay, so that's the next job, is putting the speakers back inside the unit. That's the next job. So what you do, simple problem with a simple solution. Simply 1, 2 and 3, like that, and that goes that way around, like that. There we are. Yes, and they will go onto there like that. And we now look for bolts to hold, nuts to hold these in place. Then of course it's a simple matter of connecting these up to the circuit, and the job will be a good one. So put these out like that, and there we are. It's that's sorted. So I'll go and find the nuts now, wherever they are. I might have to provide new ones, I don't know. This is a set now, it is working. The noise, by the way, it comes off in mobile phone, but
came from behind to win 2-1. Elsewhere, Brighton thrashed Wolves.
no.
Something with that, Jared, could be confirmed.
The full-time West Scott here at Portman Road, Ipswich.
So that's it. We don't have much on AM radio now, but there you are anyway. If we go across to FM, which I do with the pliers. Like that. The meter's kept up behind, so we should. That's radio 2. That's radio 3.
Well, there I go.
There's radio 4. So obviously
Joey Oldman,
it's,
meanwhile, was having mixed fortunes. Corazon Aquino, the president of the Philippines, could...
So there you are, it's working again now. Completely back together again. Again, I wonder actually why somebody has took a radio completely apart, working radio. All it needed was the smoothers and two capacitors. I don't know why they did what they did, but they did. Nice set actually. No long wave, which is rare for that era, but no long wave. American sets I know don't bother with long wave, but they don't have long wave over there. Over here they do, and so why this one didn't, I don't know. I know it's from 1962 or thereabouts, and all that, but I don't know much about it. I've not found a circuit. Oh well, like I said, this was a rental set, so that's probably why. Well, thanks for dropping by the Longstreet workshop today, and this is now finished radio, back together and working as well. That's really like Manchester, I think, there. Go over to
Stadium
medium
beat
wave.
Liverpool 4-0
There's
and finished all
5 live. That's 5 live. Talk sport. That is of course the oldest station or one of anywhere.
Neil. If you're curious about meditation,
No, I'm not. Well, anyway, until next time. Until next time, God bless. Every God is be faithful to him. Look after each other and yourselves. And remember, it's the way to live is to fix stuff. It's great fun as well. Bye bye.